Good morning everybody, welcome back to another episode of Non-Stop Fishing. Now we're not out in the water, we're not chasing fish, but we're in the shed with the boat and I'm going to be talking about the Easytow boat trailer today. Now we've had this trailer for 12 months, crazy to think, time flies, but we've had this for 12 months. Now this has really given me a really good chance of seeing how this performs towing, long distance trips, but also retrieval and launching and all that sort of stuff that you really need to know when you're, doing things with a trailer, I guess, with a boat. Now, this video is really gonna help out anyone who's in that market to upgrade trailers to their existing boats like I did, but also if you're in the market to do a boat package and you're looking for a new boat with a particular trailer, this could actually help you too. So stay tuned because I'm gonna be talking about all the little things that I didn't know when I was getting this trailer, but also all the things I've had to do to the trailer to make it better and work really well with our boat. Now, basically, I'm gonna start at the front, make my way down to the back, talk about all the little factors that I've had to sort of look at and do and things that we've done to the trailer to make it work for us. So let's get to the front and we'll start our little, tour. So at the very front, we've got our jockey wheel. Now this is the only thing we've had to do where we had to send it back to Easytow. Now basically the old jockey wheel we had, we'd lift it right up, but unfortunately it would just want to drop, and it was freaky as because if you were doing something and then all of a sudden it couldn't sustain the weight, it would just drop down. So that was a warranty thing. We swapped it over to something a little bit beefed up, a little bit more stronger, and we haven't had an issue with this one since. So again, that's the only thing we've had to actually send back to Easytow, and when we did, they were fine with it. So yeah, just always think about upgrading these sorts of things because it's something I didn't think about. All right, the next thing. Basically, we had these stone guards. We had these on our old trailer. Now, these are a necessity for anyone who tows their boat long distances because stone chips, all that sort of stuff, it can just cause a real pain, especially to any sort of boat, and you just want to protect it as much as you can. So we wanted to get these back on, but because we had these custom made for this boat, we wanted to utilize the canvases still rather than getting them built again. So all we did was we got some aluminium bar work done by the guy. He fabricated it and it worked really well. Now, we also didn't want to drill holes into the main section of the trailer. We wanted to utilize existing things that were already there, so it saved us having to make holes. So what we tried to do with this little join part of this stone guard, we utilized the tubes that were underneath. Basically, we got the guy to fabricate, we slotted it in, we used the existing bolt, that bolt straight through, and there was no holes. And so if we ever did want to take these off, we could take them off and there'd be no holes. No one would even know that there were stone guards on this trailer. The only holes that it does have are up the front here where we had to just basically make two mounting points so then these stone guards could hold nice and strong. And there was no need. So 2 holes in total to hold these onto the boat. So I think really that was a thumbs up straight away. So if you, have got a trailer like this, think about the different ways you can do it, because I've seen a lot of Easytow boat trailers with stone guards and they've drilled straight into the main part. It works, but if you can utilize what you've already got, do that. Now, after setting up the stone guards, that brought us to the next problem. With our spare tire, you only get a small arm that basically holds the tire from the trailer. So what was happening, the original arm was rubbing up against our new stone guard covers. So what we had to do, we had to go back to the middleman and he helped us out. We fabricated this one and we measured it. We've done a few little measurements and we made an extended arm, and it doesn't stick out much more than the original. It's just enough so you've got clearance so you're not gonna have your tire rubbing against your stone guard. Now, I've seen a lot of stone guards where they incorporate something all the way around the front. That works, but we wanted to use our original ones, so this just works for us, worked perfectly, and it all sits nicely, and we haven't had any issues since. So that's the main little section there, and I think we sort of came up with a few problems, but we also solved a few problems. So this next little bit, this was a little bit of fiddling around. We were trying to get this boat catch to sort out, so then it wasn't rubbing. We wanted to have everything working right, and because we were using our existing boat catch, there was a lot of mucking around with it. Now, luckily enough, my old boy, very switched on, he was playing around with this, he played with this, until he worked it out. So just really take that into consideration. If you've got an existing boat catch and you know, you're not sure what you're doing, have a chat to your boat dealer, because it won't fit straight away. You'll have to maneuver it, you'll have to set things up to make it work, all right? So apart from that, everything else is pretty much the same. The electric brakes, amazing. Haven't had any issues with that at all. So yeah, very, very happy with the electric brakes, which is this unit here. So yeah, thumbs up for that. Righto, so just starting from here, you can see everything looks pretty much like we bought it. We wash it down every time we use it, and there's nothing showing of any sign of corrosion, rust, or anything like that. Very happy with how the trailer's looking. It looks pretty much brand new still, which is fantastic. Now we've got our first set of rollers. We had to adjust these a few times because, again, the way the boat sit, they'd start to wobble and you could hear a bit of a wobble, but once you set them up, it was all good. We make our way down a bit further. This was a little addition I wanted to do. I put these on. Basically I found that the actual top of these got really slippery when they were wet. So you had to be real careful, because if you had wet feet, or even if they were a bit wet, if you went to stand on them, they were slippery. So these are designed, they make these for all sort of different styles. I've got one just made for the stabby, but yeah, this is great. It's just non-slip, very good. And the only thing, there is a bolt here. So there's a little bit of a, I guess you would say, a little air pocket that's underneath. It hasn't peeled up yet, but I'm a bit, yeah, I think it might happen eventually, because, you know, eventually a bit of water will get in there and that'll probably peel up. But touch wood, it looks pretty good, and it's, yeah, no dramas at all. Wheels and tires, fantastic. We've had no issues at all with them. We keep going down. All right, we're down to the back. Now, this is where it all gets interesting. So, our old trailer, full roller trailer, we had no issues with it at all. Basically, every single roller did its part and there was no rattle. These rattle. Now, if I knew what I did now, I would have got the skid, because you can get this in roller or skid. The skid, you wouldn't have had any rattle at all, but I was like, well, I had a roller trailer, it would have been perfect. So, if you are like me, don't go rollers, all right? Go a skid. You won't have the rattle, because basically we've had to adjust these so many times, and as you can see, even now, like this one here, it's tight, but you can still hear that rattle. This one here, that's what you hear when you're, and we've adjusted this so many times. It doesn't sit perfectly every time. It sort of does, but basically that one's a bit rattly, that one's tight, that one's pretty good, but that one is. Saying that, the next time I go out fishing, will come in, come out, this one will be tight, that one might be. So it's all a bit strange, but again, didn't realize that these would be so rattly, and they do make a lot of sound when you're driving. So yeah, if you're gonna do it, go a skid, much better. That's what I would do. Now, I'm under the boat, bit of a weird spot, but this is really funny. This roller, this is just for when I guess you're driving on, but the boat actually doesn't touch it. Now, we had to put a few washers on this, but this rattled like there was no tomorrow. It sounded like something was completely loose. I could do this and it was like pop, 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 pop. But now it's nice and tight and it rolls just, which you want it to, but it doesn't make that rattle sound. Our boat actually doesn't touch this roller. So again, it's perfectly set, but it's just, there's that little gap. So yeah, that was making so much noise. So we fixed that up, got rid of that rattle, but we still had the rattle of the other ones behind us. But again, it is what it is. You just learn these things. So there's just a few things to think about when you are driving long distances. It does start to rattle a little bit, but I've got something for that too. So basically, little washer lugs, that stopped that from rattling. So that was probably one of the other issues. But from the back, it's, yeah, real nice, neat. No sort of, you know, sign of, you know, any sort of corrosion, rust, which you would expect with this particular trailer. But everything's been fantastic. All the lights, all the LED stuff, great. So no drums at all there. So yeah, let's talk about the next little issue. Okay, so as I was saying, basically, when we're doing long distance trips, I really like to strap the trailer down. Everyone does, because it's just a safety thing, stops anything from happening, and it's a really good thing to do. Now, our boat's got these tie down points. That's designed for straps. Now, the old trailer, we could easily do it with any sort of strap. We'd just modify it, would be all good. But the distance between this point and that point, very, very short. So I had to really do some investigating. I found some of these straps. Basically, these straps, one end doesn't have a strap. The hook's actually attached to the bracket, and then we've got one strap. So then that's a perfect distance. The only thing about these particular straps, they're all metal. So metal on metal, not ideal, especially when you're putting a lot of pressure down. So we made up these like little plastic covers to hold it down, just to give a little bit of give and just to make it work better. When we'll actually strap this boat down, all the rattle does stop, which is really good because it must pull everything down. Saying that, when we do a lot of our local trips, like the boat ramp is not even 500-600 meters away from us. So the thing is, we don't even worry about strapping it. So when we're going backwards and forth in the ramp, we'll hear that little bit of a rattle, which is a bit annoying, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's not that bad. But when we do big trips, we strap it down and it's pretty good, pretty quiet. So that was one thing that you got to think about, especially if you want to use existing tie down points. Sometimes these aren't going to work and it's the distance that's going to be a big killer. I know a lot of guys do straps that go right across the back of the transom. That works. I'm not a big fan of it because I don't like having straps rubbing against your boat, even if you've got big covers or whatnot to try and stop that. They still got a tendency to rub, and yeah, I don't want to have that issue, especially when I've got this perfectly good hook or a tie down point that I can use. So just be aware, the distance between that can be a little bit different. Righto, so I pretty much talked about all the stuff that we've had to do with it. Now, to be completely honest, there was a lot of muck around. It wasn't just a quick whack the boat on the trailer and we're all sweet to go. It took us a good day to set everything up because everything's made for your boat, but all the rollers are set down, so you gotta set them all up. You gotta set everything to make it work. You would have seen that in that video I did when I first got the trailer. So there was a lot of tinkering around to make it work for us. Even after that, we had to do a lot of mucking around. So after multiple boat launches, just to get used to it, just to get used to what we had to do, we were under there sorting things out. But now everything's done. Everything is sweet. And yeah, pretty happy with it actually. So yeah. Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about in regards to towing. Now, like I was saying, when I do short distances from the ramp and back, there's a little bit of rattle going on. You know, it's something that's a bit annoying, but hey, it is what it is. But when you go long distances and we strap everything down nice and tight, you don't hear that. Now, this thing comes into its own when we're doing that long distance trip. Now, I've done a couple of trips, did the far west coast to Streaky Bay and all that sort of stuff, and this towed beautifully. Now, with the electric brakes and the torsion bar suspension, it didn't even feel like we had a boat on the back. It actually changed the way it felt towing compared to the old trailer, because I had cable brake trailer and every time you'd stop you'd feel that real big jerk of the cable brake working, whereas this is a nice soft gradual brake because electric brakes are kicking in, but also just the way it sits on the road, very comfortable driving. And there was times where I didn't realise, and I was actually going faster than I meant to, because usually when you're towing you're like, oh yeah, you can feel it, but this, no issues at all. So really happy with how this tows, and that's probably one massive thing that I'm really loving about the trailer is big trips, fantastic. Now, in regards to just the general, maintenance of it, we haven't had to do anything to it. It's been really good. Like I said, we've added a few bits and pieces as you would have seen throughout the video, but it's all worked really well. In regards to launching and retrieving, that did take a little while to get used to, because again, you just got to work out the depth and how it works for you driving the trailer, driving the boat on and getting it off. Now, it's really quite funny because our old Dumbia trailer, all rollers, we'd set it down and we'd undo all the latches and we'd get to the last point, and as we do that last point, it would either just roll off straight away or we'd just have to touch it lightly and it would roll off. It was very sensitive. This, it actually sticks on the trailer really well. And at the sort of the first time I did it, I was like, oh, I'm not sure about this, but it's really good because I can reverse the boat down. I can go around to the other side because I can't go this side anymore because of the wheel, the spare wheel. We never had a spare wheel on the other trailer, so I could access everything from this side, but I've got to go right around the other side. Now, this is fantastic, especially if you're going with people that aren't sure what they're doing. So I can go around the other side, unhook everything. The boat is in the water. It doesn't come off the trailer. Then I can go around. They can be holding the rope, and all I do is reverse the car back, and you can actually feel it just go boop, 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 and it just rolls off real slowly. Now, it doesn't roll off real quickly like our old one, where you could lose control of where the boat goes, and if you are with people that aren't sure what they're doing, this is a much safer, much easier one. And I've done this before where I've reversed it down, and before the boat has actually left the trailer, I've got out of the car, I've walked along, I've grabbed the rope, I've pulled it to the side of the pontoon and helped them tie it up, because again, if you haven't done this sort of stuff, it's pretty scary when you've got a big boat like this. So very happy with that. In regards to retrieving the boat, we've had to just work out the depth like you have to do with any trailer, but we've got it down to a pretty much of a fine art now. Pretty much, yeah, you get it to a certain point in the water and you can drive it straight up. Sometimes it does want to, you know, go side to side, but it does drive on really easily. It's not hard at all. Saying that, I preferred my old Dumbia roller trailer. I could drive that on real easy without any issues at all. But saying that, I had 10 years of driving on and off, so I got really, really good at that trailer. This one will probably end up being exactly the same. The good thing about this trailer is you can hit it at any point. It's got the big skids to guide you into that middle section and you can just drive up. But like I said, the retriever that we put in, we didn't even have to really do that because I can drive it up, and because the boat sticks on the trailer, I can take it out of gear, it'll sit on the trailer. So sometimes I'll drive it up and I only get it sort of at a certain point, take it out of gear, it won't go anywhere. I can jump out, wind it up if I need to. Most of the time I'll just drive it up until I hear it go click, but you don't have to because the trailer actually holds it on there, which is really interesting. Now, I haven't done a beach launch with this, so that's gonna be interesting because with a beach launch, you wanna be able to reverse back, tap that brake, slides off into the water, and then the car can, you know, drive and part of the trailer. I'm hoping this will do this, and I think if we've got enough water, it should. But if it's a little shallow, it won't want to come off. It'll be stuck on there. So time will tell. We'll do a few beach launches in the future, but overall, yeah, really happy with how the trailer's performed on the road and launching and retrieving. Righto, so I guess we're going to talk about the conclusion. Now, pretty much I went through everything we've had to do. We did do a lot of mucking around with this trailer, but overall, really happy with it. Now, the way the trailer looks at the moment, it looks like it is when we first bought it. There's no blemishes from the salt, there's no damage, there's nothing like that weather-wise that's done to this trailer. It's just looking as good as we bought it. Now, in regards to towing, double thumbs up. This thing tows beautifully with the electric brakes and that torsion bar suspension. It actually rides really, really well. And that's where you'll really notice the difference from an old trailer to this. That was the big thing for me, especially doing those big long trips. Crazy how good they are. Yes, there are a few little issues with it. And if I could go back in time, I would have done a few things differently, but I can't. But hopefully it helps you guys out working out what you need to do for your particular sort of issue. But I would highly recommend getting one. Yes, they're a little bit more expensive, but man, they've got some good running gear. And yeah, we had no issues with warranty stuff with that Jockey Wheel, and we've, yeah, just been able to do everything. I guess one thing you've got to really consider if you are going to buy a new trailer for your boat, unless you've got a dealer that are happy to set your boat up on the new trailer, you've got a lot of mucking around to do, especially if you do the rollers, especially if you've got a boat catch and all that sort of stuff. So there's just a few little things that you've got to do, but overall, I think you'd be very happy because I'm very happy. It completely changes the look of your boat. Like, we love our boat, but now I love my trailer, so it's just a great little combo. So I hope you guys have picked a few things out of this. Again, it's just more just to give you guys an idea of what I've had to deal with and what we've had to deal with the trailer, but overall, I'm very happy with it, and yeah, look forward to many long trips and many more trips to come. So hope you guys have enjoyed, and until our next episode, we'll see you then. Yo!